A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back once again to HJN Season 4. And so, with more subjects on the rise, as well as little more that I hope to do for the rest of the season, I'd say that I'm going to be in a pretty good spot, because so long as the requests keep coming, that will certainly be appreciated. But furthermore, we'll have lots more worth talking about. Because with the end of Season 4 on the way, as well as many plans for a 5th season, I'm sure to say lots will be expected. So, in any case, this is number 2657, and I'm going to be talking about Druids. And so, what I have in mind specifically from the fact that Druids is, well, I guess one good way to define it is that Druids commonly referred to ancient Celtic cultures. More so, Druids actually referred to the type of people whom were deemed as religious leaders, whom were often associated with certain activities. They could keep a hold of lore, they could also give out medical professions, and they're also capable of putting together legal authority. I guess one big way to put it together is that when you have such a person out there like a druid, then there's a couple of things that you want to consider out there. These are the kind of people whom are known for keeping together various religions as well as lore-based stuff. But one of the biggest things about the druid history is that as far back as the 300s BC, of course, which was over 2,300 years ago, one of the oldest known druids out there was a depiction of Julius Caesar's Commertali de Billo Gallico, which I hope I said that correctly by any means. But this exact piece that Caesar himself had described back in the day was in fact associated and even described by various other ancient Roman writers over the years. Tacitus, Pliny, Cicero, Gaul, yeah. The thing is that one of the big stories about the Druids themselves is that there was a Roman invasion that took place in Gaul. And Gaul, as we know, was a portion of Western Europe, first described by the ancient Romans, and would later become the countries of France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. Even a bit of Germany and the Netherlands would often be associated. So this whole landmass in particular was simply put its own particular land at the time. And well, the thing is that the Roman government had originally suppressed the Druid orders. And by the 2nd century AD, well, it's fair to say that the written record of Druids had been wiped, disappeared off the face of the earth. But like many other Roman artifacts and historical significance values and such pieces, they were eventually discovered. And the old history of the Druids had been put together in many different ways over the years. So when you think about it, a nearly 2,300-year-old story first told by the Celtics and then put together by the Romans under the Druid order until the official Roman government would come around to wipe it out. Yeah. It's fair to say that with Druids, there's a lot riding on it. There's always the likelihood that when it comes to modern day Druidism, there's always the unfortunate side of a cultist exploitation. If you're familiar with certain pop culture over the years, we could talk about how certain religious lore keeping, as well as other things, had been spawned upon in pop culture over the years. So you could say that even though the Roman government tried to wipe out the Druid order in the first place, they still were able to keep a hold of these Druid records, and somehow they managed to survive for all this time until they were finally dug up. And eventually, this history has been shown to truly take place, even in the present day time. I mean, cultists out there, you gotta learn something from the good old Celtic days. As far back as the 3rd century BC. So you really have yourself quite a story worth telling. And I'm sure hoping that this story, much like other things commonly associated with Roman mythology, as well as ancient Greeks and other such things coming from ancient Europe back in the day, there's definitely a lot worth looking into. So, I feel like the story of the Druids is just what it is. So, not much more to iterate here. But in any case, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this piece, and while I will have many more left to talk about, I sure do hope we'll have a lot more worth talking about, because the end of the fourth season may be around, but there are plans for a fifth and final season. Yep, unfortunately, there probably won't be much more that I could possibly do after a fifth season had come and gone. But I probably will discuss more of these details later on as the series progresses even further. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow me wherever you can find me, and stay on the Hollywood side for more.